All right, what we're going to do here is the formulas of Chapter 3 as a sort of an interactive quiz. Now, we'll think of it as a quiz, but I'm going to give you the answers as we go along. But just wondering if, in fact, you have this knowledge. So let's go on to item number 1. Many of you had the sheet earlier. Some of you are only getting it now, but hopefully useful for Chapter 3. Now, in this first example, what we're looking at is a special formula in which we have the values of x and y see if I can get my pen going right there. X and y. That's in an equation that is equal to some number over here. So our first question is, what is the official name of this formula? And we want you to write it here for letter A. We'll give you a chance. And it's the standard form of the linear equation in two variables. And that's what you should put for letter A, or you can just put standard form. All right, let's go on to example 2. Now, as you look at it, it also has two variables. There's a y and the x. Now, if we take the previous equation in standard form and solve it for the letter y, we get this form. Now, for this big B down here, we're asking just to where to put the answer. What is the name of this equation? We'll give you a moment. And it's the slope intercept form. When it's the standard form is solved for the letter y, it's the slope intercept form. Now, just to know where to put the answer for B sub 1, what does this m refer to? And then for B sub 2, actually the letter B. And we'll give you a moment. And the m is the slope of this equation. That is the coefficient of x, not the x, just the number that's in front of the x when it's in this form. And the b happens to be the y-intercept. It will be on a graph where this line crosses the y-axis. So that's referred to, whatever is in this position is the y-intercept. As we look at, we're calling equations 3, it's m, which we know is the slope, equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And what do you think this is the equation of? And if you said it's the formula for slope, that is correct. And a couple of other things I might add. Slope, by definition, is a ratio of y units over x units. Or another way to look at it, the distance of the rise over run. And as we discuss that in the chapter, these little references will be more meaningful to you. Now, for this little d here, we're asking, what's this called? Give you a moment. It's called the ordered pair. that is x comma y. Now often we see, instead of using x and y, they'll use the letters a comma b. This would be an ordered pair in which order is significant. That is, the x comes first, as the a comes first. Now you'll remember that b here and that a. We'll be getting to that a little bit, but the a would refer to the x, the b would refer to the y. Now for number 4, here's a formula you'll see, I believe, in section 5 of chapter 3. And we see there the slope and also one ordered pair member. So what does the m refer to again is the slope. And what is the name of this formula? We'll give you a moment. And the official name is the point-slope form. The slope and one point. And it's sort of easy to remember. It's just y minus y sub 1. And on the other side, x minus x sub 1. And on the other side, you put an m in front of the parentheses. Now, we're calling this equation, which is a modified form of what we see above, where y equals just b. The x part is 0, so y equals b. Y equals the y-intercept. And we're going to give you an example of one where y equals 3, let's say. Well, again, the ordered pair is a comma b. So our 3 here is our b value, which is what y is. And this is a special equation of a horizontal line. A horizontal line that goes through the y-intercept. The y-intercept, which is 3. So you put a dot at your y-intercept, and in MATLAB a dot anywhere else on the same line, and it makes a nice horizontal line. Now I'm adding here as a little something. What is the slope of a horizontal line? Something like this. And the answer is 0. Remember I said that y here was 0, or x I should say is 0. So the slope is 0. Now again, we have a special modification of standard form. There is no y now. There's only the x. And we're saying x equals a. X equals a negative 2. This is also a special formula. And what is it an equation of? And the answer is it's an equation of a vertical line. And the line goes through A. A is your x value, so therefore a vertical line going through negative 2 and just go up to any other point, and you end up with a vertical line. So we had in 5 a horizontal line that went through the y-intercept at B. What do you think the A value is called? It's called the x-intercept. That is, whatever the equation states x equals -2, x equals a. In your ordered pair, whatever value is there, that's the x-intercept, and it forms a vertical line. Now, what is the slope of a vertical line? Now, the horizontal line was 0. The slope of a vertical line, by definition, is undefined. Okay, this is a lot of information, but as you read through chapter 3 and, do our lessons and your practice and study plan, this is what you'll pick up on. This is sort of like a summary of review items. Now, what we're calling formulas 7 is more of a hint. When the slope of one equation equals the slope of another equation, but your y-intercepts are different, what can we say about the relationship of these two equations? And we say the lines are parallel. This is the symbol for parallel lines. So what I'd like you to do here for letter K in this space is summarize in words what we've just said. When the slopes of equations are the same, but the y-intercepts are not alike, the lines are parallel. And if we were to make a graph of that, it would look like so. There would be one line, there would be another line. Now the slopes would be the same, but your y-intercept is there, your y-intercept is there. The lines are parallel, and this is the symbol for parallel lines. Now another general hint, we're calling this hint number 8, is that here you see we are multiplying the slopes. If the product, when we multiply the slopes, is a -1, such as the slope of the first equation was 1/2, the slope of the second equation was a -2, and we can put that over 1, and we multiply them, you can maybe see this is the negative reciprocal of 1/2, and you get a product -1. The lines are perpendicular. This is the symbol for perpendicular, an upside down capital T. So the symbol for perpendicular. Now, once again, when you multiply slopes and the product of that multiplication is a -1, such as this, the lines are perpendicular. And that's what we want you to write here. So the product of the slopes, -1. An example, the lines are related as perpendicular. And if I were to draw the graph of that, again, one line would look like so, and the other line would look like so, and the intersection of them would be a right angle. These lines are perpendicular. So this one would be like the 1/2, and this line would be a -2. And if we multiplied the slopes together, the product would be a -1. That is, one is the negative reciprocal of the other. Now, another hint, something we'll be doing, is what we call plotting the intercepts. Now, to do this, when the equation is in standard form, such as what we see here, a good technique for this is to develop what we call an X and Y intercept t-chart. And what we do when we set up this special t-chart is put a 0 under the X column and then a little further down under the Y column. So if X here, this X is a 0, this becomes 0, and we then get 4y equals 12. We divide both sides by 4. We get a 3. Now, if y is a 0, this y is a 0, 4 times 0 is 0, we get 3x equals 12, so x would equal 4. Now, we actually have here now the x and y intercepts. When x is 0, and it's in the form 0, comma b, that's your y-intercept. When our x is a, and our y is b, well, our y is 0, I should say, that's 0, then this is the x-intercept. So now we're going to plot the intercepts. So 0, comma b, 0, comma b is right there. That would be 0, comma 3, which is our y-intercept. This is the formal way of writing the y-intercept. And then this is 4, comma 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the formal way of writing our x-intercept, a comma 0, 4, comma 0. And then we put a line through that. We have graph this particular equation by finding its intercepts, the y-intercept, the x-intercept, through this process. And our value for n is just what is the name of this special t-chart. Well, it's called the x and y intercept t-chart. Very useful when the equation is in standard form. Now, for our last item on this review sheet or quiz sheet, however you want to look at it, is plotting a graph using slope-intercept. Now we know slope is a ratio of rise over 1, y units over x units, and here this equation is in the slope-intercept form. So what is the protocol for graphing this? Well, step 1, you plot the y-intercept. When it's in this form, has to be in this form. So it's a -2. We put a dot right there. Now we're doing this in MATLAB normally. Now, from this point, we now plot the slope. Well, the slope is 1/3. 3 are the x units, 1 is the y unit. So this is a run, and it's positive. So from this intercept, we go 3. 1, 2, 3. We do this mentally. And in a sense, we're making a little triangle. And then we go up 1. And now we make our line. And we have made the graph of this equation in slope-intercept form by plotting the intercept, -2, and it's a positive slope, so we then plot our x units. Mentally we go over 3, over 1, put another dot there, and our equation forms. Okay, this is like 21 minutes, so rather long, but hopefully useful.